check.
Yeah, it's done something there. We're good. We're now live from Vegas. Thank you for joining. Scarlett Adman, I know that name. That must be Michael McNamara. Hello. So I know there's only a few people have joined already, but Gary Monk, if you don't recognize me, from Health for Brands Chelsea, part of the Havas network, with my esteemed colleague Yossi Spicer, who you probably can't see, but let me turn the camera on him. Do you want to say any words, Yossi?
I'm just happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Thank you for that introduction. That's fantastic. So we're just we're obviously in the convention center. It's the main healthcare convention center of where are we now? It's CES, isn't it, Yossi? It's CES in Vegas. So we're just outside one of the main health tech halls. Yossi's panning around at the moment, probably away from he's back to my ugly mug. We're right by the TechCrunch stand, and there's a few stands out here, but we'll start going in. How many people have we got now, Yossi? Oh wow, quite a few. That's a good number. Mr. Mickelberg, hello. Mr. Bolloré. Greetings, gentlemen and ladies present. So we'll just take you around. It might be a little bit loud in here. We're going to go a bit slowly so it doesn't feel like you're going to get seasick. As we're walking, there's the NetAtmo stand. Some of you might be familiar. NetAtmo does sensors that are not the sensors that would normally attach to your body like Fitbits, but environmental sensors to help you sleep, attach to your bed, temperature, air quality. We could think about how they might be used in healthcare. Think of patients with COPD to ensure their environment, any patients or healthcare consumers. So that's a really important thing to be aware of. I think we'll walk past that one, but you get the idea. And I think we'll pan round as well to Withings Health. Some of you might be familiar. You might even own one of their products. One of their earliest products was the scales, the automatic scales that you go on. They measure your body fat. They Bluetooth that to an app on your phone. I was here last year. They had a number of products. I don't know how close we'll get, but you can see they're doing now a range of all sorts of smart watches. You can measure various different vital signs and sync those across. As you can see as well, it's pretty busy here. A lot of people around, very engaged with the technology. So these guys have really increased last year. They were presenting yesterday around blood pressure management and obviously the healthcare benefits of patient doing that remotely. And if you saw the update yesterday, we talked around that. I thought this was interesting actually. My biceps aren't that big, but maybe they could be if I use this product called Sculpt. You have Fitbit, which tracks steps. This is actually helping track your muscle mass. If you're like to go to the gym, this helps you apparently build muscle efficiently. So this is could be particularly interesting for you. And if we go, if we carry on straight down. And again, hopefully you're getting a feeling for the atmosphere and the environment in here. I think if you're into adventure sports, you can quantify your surfboard, quantify your snowboard, and actually see how far you've jumped, how far you've traveled, and do all this crazy and cool stuff with sensors on your boards and your equipment. So again, good fun. As we move through, we're past Withings already. There's Fitbit. Fitbit have got a big presence, as I think Yossi's just panning past LifeTrack. Again, more health tech, quantified self stuff. We're walking towards the Fitbit stand. One of the new products that's just been announced at the show, the Fitbit Blaze. Again, it's some form of smartwatch tracking device. It's smart in the way that it can actually track what type of activity you're doing. I think there's 15 different activities, and maybe if we can push some people out the way in a New York style manner, we can maybe see some of the things here. I think we might be able to see some of their. I mean, what gets me? I was here last year. There was a number of different devices here, but there's the huge range of products. So these products are multiplying and snowballing. We've got the Blaze, which everyone seems to be looking at there. I think. Yeah, you can see people are trying to pick that up. So that's the latest product. So if we keep walking through and get out the way. And again, we can see probably over there in the slight distance, we got Under Armour, again, fitness clothing. Michael Phelps was here yesterday, so this was absolutely ram jammed. you couldn't get in. Polar tracking, they've got some very nice fluorescent watches. Again, this is more around the well consumer, looking at more peak fitness. And if we can we're just panning past Under Armour. You can see, I think if we move past the iFit stand, iFit are doing various different demonstrations around their fitness equipment.
Under Armour, you're probably getting a lot of noise right here, but Under Armour is actually starting to launch its entire ecosystem for the healthcare space. So if you take a quick look with me, they're launching something called the Health Box, which is really, really exciting. We got a up close and personal look at it earlier at the convention. It's very exciting. They're starting to launch their own kind of closed loop or a closed market, which I think is something that we definitely want to take a closer look at. I think that's going to be one of the most exciting things that are going to be happening now in connected health, and CES especially is focusing in on that. It's a little bit noisy in here, so we're going to keep on moving. It's really, yeah, we're heading this way. All right. So we got the iFit. Definitely a major focus nowadays is on fitness and really the quantified self. The idea of constantly tracking your vital statistics and ensuring real activity monitoring is ensuring better health. That's very exciting. Be Well checkup over here. Literally, the entire convention hall is just filled with everything sensors and connected health. You take over the look over there. If you pan over there, Gary, it's the eye health, the heart health. Sorry.
Right round. We're going right round.
The eye health and the heart health and the weight management. It's all about movement and sleep tracking. There's an entire booth over there dedicated to better sleep management through sensors that track your sleep through the mattress itself. Some very exciting stuff. They won some innovation awards while we were here. Definitely a lot of really, really, really amazing and exciting things that are happening.
And Misfit, Yossi, I'm just going to say one thing on Misfit. I don't want to take the mic away from you, but I saw an interesting presentation where Misfit are talking about wearables and making them beautiful. There's been a lot of talk at the conference about making wearables seamless, frictionless, invisible. The Misfit approach is very much to make them stand out, make them bold, but make them beautiful, something that you'd really want to wear, whether you're a well consumer or a patient. You'd want to wear something like this. Not everyone might be to your taste, but there's a great degree of personalization that is possible. If you like, Yossi, we can head to the breathometer, because myself and Yossi saw a presentation which was interesting yesterday from I guess a fairly small startup company called breathometer, however you want to pronounce it. And what it can do is it can tell if you've got nasty chemicals in your breath, how fresh your breath is. And they've got a partnership with Philips and the Sonicare toothbrush and dental hygiene set.
Proprietary technology, I understand now, to even detect things as disease specific as lung cancer and things of that nature. So there's some really exciting things that are happening in this space beyond just the the general bacteria within one's mouth. You can actually learn a lot from oral hygiene. So that's some really exciting stuff as well.
Yeah, no, it's great. Real potential healthcare applications.
I think there's another really great example of a closed network. So in other words, the idea that Philips is partnering with them and really creating it as a closed loop and a closed network that they can track from the beginning of the actual point of care. So in other words, the toothbrush is more than just a toothbrush. The tongue scraper is more than just a tongue scraper because it's connected to the app and it's connected in their sort of closed loop marketplace to ensure that you can kind of change behavior. There's some real positive opportunities to have behavior modification here by really improving, seeing your stats and seeing how you're actually going to be affecting your positive change and positive health and wellness. And
some other cool stuff that we saw in Body. You may be familiar with In Body if you're a member of a gym. I'm a member of Equinox in New York, and when you go to have your first induction session, they measure your levels of body fat, muscle mass, etc., and you can track your composition very accurately rather than just scales and tape measures. So again, potential for patients who are well, want to keep fit, or maybe patients with heart failure, diabetes, to check volumes of fluids, weight, mass on a daily basis. So some real healthcare potential as well. Actually, myself and my good friend Yossi saw a presentation by Quell yesterday, so we might walk towards there. Quell is a novel way of actually reducing chronic pain, so they claim, without the use of drugs. So it uses neurostimulation, which is not a new thing, but it's new in the way that it's contained in a band that attaches around the ankle, that transmits your sessions you've had, your pain sessions, to a mobile app, and gives you feedback. You can wear it while you're asleep. It goes around your ankle, but it can manage pain all over the body. So if you've got chronic lower back pain, they've apparently got clinical studies to say that it actually helps patients significantly with their chronic pain. So you can see one of the bands, or several of the bands here. You can see the companion mobile app, which is able to track things like sleep quality. One of the insights that came out yesterday, this is a band that fits around the leg. It is more accurate than having a band on the wrist, because there's lots of random movements that happen on the wrist. The leg's more stable when you're asleep, so it gives you much more accurate sleep statistics than a wristband would, as well as that, hopefully, that pain relief. And the area which I thought was another area which I think would be maybe an interesting one to close off on is cardio, if you want to go to that. This is interesting because we've heard about blood pressure monitors for patients, but one of their products is it's really empowering the patient. It's giving the patient an actual ECG monitor, so they could measure heart arrhythmias, atrial fibrillations in the comfort of their own home. So obviously it begs the question of what happens with this data, how doctors actually use it. So yeah, we'll have a look at the product here. Hello, how are you doing? We're just periscoping actually, so we're just going to say something about the product. But okay, all right, we might ask Mike some questions just to make sure I'm giving you guys the right information. But as I understand it, this is a consumer-grade ECG device that can be worn at home, medical-grade ECG. Hello, Gary Monk from Havas Health. I'm with my colleague Yossi Spicer. We just wanted to ask some questions around cardio, because I saw you guys here last year, but do you want to say a little bit about the product? Because I've been giving some information, but I want to make sure it's the right stuff. So I don't know if you could, in a nutshell, you could say what the product does.
So we have 3 different medical grade devices. The one that you were just referring to is CardioCore. So it is our continuous ECG monitor. In addition to ECG, it also does heart rate variability, body temperature, respiratory rate, and stress response. We also have a wireless blood pressure monitor, CardioArm, and our third product is Cardio Base, which is a smart scale and body composition analyzer.
Right. I've got one question, because we were at some of the health sessions over the last couple of days, and one of the questions that came out, it's great having this data, but how do you work that through from the patient through to the doctor, so the doctor sees benefits and is not overwhelmed by that data?
So what we do is, with the CardioArm, if someone is using it to monitor their blood pressure because their doctor has told them they need to, we have a great sharing option where they can easily, with the push of a button, send an email to the doctor, but it's not just a huge list of data. It has a nice chart, graphs, averages, highs, lows, so it helps the doctor look at it in a glance and not waste time digging through information. Okay,
that's great. So getting the insights and getting the meaningful information without looking through reams of data. Great, thanks very much. And is it Alison?
Alison.
I remembered. Wow, great. Thank you very much. Thank you for that. Okay, so unless there's any closing words from my colleague Yossi, I think you've had an idea. We probably need a 5-hour periscope to take you around everything that's here, so we have to draw the line somewhere. But hopefully you've seen an example of what this is like, the buzz, the vibrancy here, and just how overwhelming it is with all these different products. If you go to the other side of the hall, which we won't have time to do, there's literally thousands of companies, smaller wannabe startup Fitbit type tracker companies there. These are some of the bigger companies we've shown you with a bigger presence, but it is absolutely huge, overwhelming, but great to be here, and we're really happy to bringing some insights back to the company. So I'll say goodbye, and maybe my colleague.
Hi. Hi, thank you for joining us.